Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly with your questions, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we are discussing a lovely and lush white gold Cartier Tank Americaine, a timepiece that is similar in some ways to the Tank Centre. Launched in 1989, the Americaine is a little bit longer, from 6 o'clock up to 12 o'clock, narrower from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock than the traditional Tank launched in 1917. So this is part of that canonical Tank catalog, but not every Tank is identical. Much like Jaeger-LeCoultre's Reverso, there's a range of different tailored styles to suit every taste. The Americaine is a wonderful piece here in automatic form, measuring 31.5 millimeters from side to side by 9.6 millimeters thick, and from end to end 51.9 millimeters with a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. So this is a fairly large watch as Cartier Tank models go, and it's fairly broad across the wrist, which you can see to good effect on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist. It's broad, it's flat, though it's not quite Broncard flat on its reverse side. It has a little bit of curve or camber across the wrist. I would say this is probably a watch that you wouldn't want to wear on a wrist much smaller than 15 centimeters circumference, though you could see as a dress watch, outstanding. Sloped case flank and super thin, under 10 millimeters. And again, take a look down the barrel. It actually comes quite close to the edge of my wrist, and you can see that even better from directly overhead. So you're going to want a fairly large wrist to wear this watch. At the same time, if you are large of wrist and you're looking for a Tank that fits you, this could be a perfect match. Taking a look at the hardware and the software, the strap is medium rectangular scale alligator leather, semi-gloss black. You get a monotone stitch, and as you can see, a folded edge. There's some bolstering as it approaches the case, and you can see that the lugs are drilled very close to the case so that extremely little daylight shows between strap and case. The result here being a watch that looks highly integrated without an integrated strap or integrated bracelet. The underside of the strap, as you can see, is calfskin, gator on the top, calf on the bottom, and this is a brand new Cartier strap. You can also appreciate that there are no perforations in the strap because the Cartier deployant clasp is a undertuck system that allows you to work the strap through its clasp bottom, and then it locks in place on top of the excess length. So the excess length is actually folded underneath the strap body and the clasp body, so there are no minder loops externally, and there's no excess length of strap flapping in the breeze. Now this buckle is a fascinating piece because it's probably historically just as important as any Cartier watch ever made as the buckle here, and we're going to untangle it now. The buckle is Louis Cartier's original design from 1909. Now, there have been some refinements over the years, but the same basic design has obtained since then, and that was by a long shot the earliest wristwatch deployant clasp ever designed. So that's an important piece for the history of the industry as a whole, not just Cartier as a company. The case, as you can see, has a curved pattern to it, curved from edge to edge, curved sapphire on the top, and you can see that it features a curved case back and curved lug bottoms, so it does fit the wrist quite nicely if you have sufficient wrist diameter for it. Satin finished on the case band. You can see the satin is longitudinal and it wraps around the ends of the lugs, which are rounded off. The bezel itself, and it's really several different parts comprising what we'd conventionally call the bezel, but the bezel is polished on its outer faces, and then the ends that abut the 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock corners of the dial, they are satinated and curved. It's difficult to achieve a water-resistant seal with a cambered sapphire, so this is impressive from a manufacturing standpoint. Then we have a polished and faceted crown with a faceted blue spindle inset. Note all of the screws that assemble the case are polished for a luxurious sheen. And then the dial, which has a lovely rosette guilloche pattern billowing out from its center, has transferred lacquered, radially arrayed Roman numerals, including a watchmaker's 4. You've got the little Cartier secret signature down at 7 o'clock. And then we have blued hands, including a counterweighted lancet style for the seconds, and relatively narrow broadsword style hands for the hours and the minutes. There's a wonderful vintage font that's employed here for the date, and the watch does include a quick set date and hacking seconds. You can see that this is a wonderful typeface set. you're going to want to play with the date just to see all of the variations on the familiar numerals. So it has the quick set function, but it also has hacking or stop seconds, and that's because the Cartier caliber 191 is quite literally a custom decorated Girard-Perregaux 3100. So along with movements like the Zenith Elite, the Jaeger-LeCoultre 889, the Vaucher 5000 and 5401 series, the Girard-Perregaux 3100 and 3300 movements are go-to ultra-thin high horology automatics that are used as customer calibers by many brands that traditionally don't have a lot of manufacturing history on the movement side. And of course, if we look back to the halcyon days of Cartier during the lifetime of Louis Cartier, Cartier never made movements. It always used the best available from high-end luxury manufacturers of the day. Today, Girard-Perregaux certainly fits that description. As you can see, the case back is satinated. It's water resistant down to 30 meters, so you don't want to go swimming with this one. The movement is automatic winding with unidirectional action. It beats away at 8 beats per second. It has hacking, it has stop seconds, it pivots on 27 joules, and it has a 46-hour power reserve, which is a little bit more than the industry standard of 38 to 42. You can also see it features engine turning on the base plate, polished screw heads, and then a repeating Cartier logo motif across the bridges as well as the rotor, with a handsomely finished, if mostly mechanically executed bevel on the edge of the bridges. This is a watch that has a lot to recommend it. If you want a great modern-day Cartier and you want to skip the diamonds and skip the quartz calibers, go straight for a true thoroughbred Girard-Perregaux movement in a Cartier Tank Americaine case in white gold. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.